All right, everyone, welcome back to Design Huddle. Today we're going to be talking about resume design as well as useful interview tips for UX designers looking to make a switch or even get their first job. Of late on Twitter, there was a pretty cool example from this designer named Emily Vu. Heard it, last name's VU. It's at EMVU tweets, but she posted this awesome Spotify themed resume, which helped her get her dream job at Spotify. So if you're watching us on YouTube, I'll share screens and you guys can see it. For everybody listening, we'll describe it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's ultimately, it's just like that she made her CV or her resume look like the Spotify UI. But before we get into it, I have to see how my co-host Mustafa is doing. Mustafa.
Yeah, man. I'm all right. You know, it's looking at CVs, applying for jobs, learning about the best practice for CVs. No, I'm not too bad. How are you doing, man?
All good. All good. I think this is a good topic, though. I mean, we have like a broad range of people that follow Design Huddle. A bulk of it is UX designers. This kind of started as a UX podcast that we're kind of branching out into new realms. But there's like some very actionable things that I always think that people can do that are pretty straightforward. So I'm sharing my screen real quick, just so in case anybody that's subscribed to our YouTube channel can see what we're looking at. But it's pretty sweet. I mean, it really jumps out. It shows how passionate you are about a particular company. The risk is you're putting a lot of time and effort in hopes that you land the job. Can you see my screen, Mustafa?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, to say that, I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're going up for a job, the more effort you put into it, the more likely the outcome's going to be greater. And everything obviously will come at a cost. But as if this designer Emily, she really wanted to get this job, so she's designed her CV to look like the UI, so it's like green and black and whatnot, and this will stand out from the rest of the other CVs that recruiters get, and like it will make designers smile and pay much more special attention when they're reading to the actual detail. And also, like, you know, as an entry point in an interview, say, "Oh, look, we saw your CV, that was really cool," and just look, anything that can uplift and give people a positive boost of your stuff is going to look good, right? Obviously, you can't really scale this. Like, if you had to do one for every single, like for Facebook or for Google or for whatever, it becomes a bit more difficult,
right?
And it doesn't necessarily work as well. And then if it gets out that you're doing your CV, designing it in the style of whatever company, then it looks kind of cheesy that you're just basically being a bit manipulative in a way, because like you don't really want to work there, you just want to get a job anywhere, which is fair enough in itself. But yeah, I mean, it is a cost, but then the payout obviously is good, like when it does pay off, you know?
Yeah, I think the other thing that's interesting is that you also need to meet the minimal qualifications. Like if you look at Emily's website, she has like a pretty stacked portfolio, and she has previous like work experience. She's like a little bit more junior, but I just think like this is an easy way to your point. Like the resume jumps out. She's going for a design role. Like it's a super cool way to, you know, separate yourself from thousands of other applicants. The other thing that I really like about the actual resume, which we'll link to the tweet in the show notes, is she does like the little things right. It's like these little details that like really separate it. It's like, yeah, you could have just done like, you know, the Spotify gradient and like pick the Spotify green or in the Spotify font, but there's the heart buttons as the bullets, which is like when you favor a song, when you like favorite a song on Spotify, it's the exact same heart, which is such a little thing, but it's so cool. That like really stood out to me. And then there was one other thing that I thought was cool. It was like the size of the call to action buttons. So she has like website, LinkedIn, email, call, and the button like the pill CTA buttons look exactly like the Spotify buttons, which I also thought was just like a nice touch.
Yeah, no, again, it's like these things will be great, like, you know, for designers to see, like the attention to detail. Yeah, again, it's an entry point, right? Like these things like this will get your foot into the door. and that's what you need. And then from there on in, the rest of your portfolio needs to really shine. And so,
thank you for listening to today's episode of Design Huddle. The opinions expressed are solely our own and do not express the views or opinions of our employer.